Match 76, Godzilla vs. Zilla vs. Desghidorah by Joshua Reynolds. A panic was ripping through the streets of Osaka. Two giants were waging a war against one another as countless innocents fled in horror. One was the Monster King himself, a feared tyrant that ruled the lands of Japan with a clawed, scaly hand. His roar drowned out the loudest thunder, and his power was greater than that of any army mankind could muster. Standing like a mountain over the land, Godzilla reared his head into the afternoon sky, releasing a thunderous war cry. His tail swayed behind him, smashing through a complex of buildings.
Is this Prime Minister Shin Godzilla?
It's gonna be great. Fantastic. I'm making a mess.
Except it's not so great when we get. Except it's going to be not so great when we have our other contender. Several hundred yards away from the Monster King, a mutation crept low to the ground. A lizard-like creature that was once confused for the Grand Kaiju, Zilla's sound rivaled that of Godzilla's. The two were similar in many ways, but different in just as many also. I'll agree with them being different. While Godzilla was slow...
One's good, one's terrible.
Yeah! While Godzilla was a slow, lumbering giant of impending doom, Zilla was a stealthy, speedy opponent. As far as Godzilla was concerned, Zilla was a ninja. Headcanon
He's nowhere as close to a ninja as Baggin is.
Yeah! Baggett's the superb ninja. Anyway. Godzilla released another echoing roar before atomic fire began to dance and crackle on his spines. That nuclear energy was carried to his maw, and a beam of surging energy was launched. Zilla snarled and leaped back. Keeping on all fours before forcing himself to a horizontal running stance. The creature outran the beam, allowing a sea of fire to explode upward where the beam struck. Godzilla snorted and ended the assault, curling his upper lips as he looked into the wall of blackness growing from the flames. The Monster King stepped forward, his clawed feet crushing through the pavement, stomping the sewers underneath. Zilla suddenly leaped through the hell, hissing as he tried to get close to Godzilla.
The hell?
Yeah, leaped through the hell.
What the
So
hell?
is he going past Kamasakami?
Yeah!
What the hell?
I think seriously half of those should have been leapt. I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Probably.
This match has terrible grammar.
0 out of 10. The nuclear behemoth quickly reached, firing his atomic ray again. Zilla stopped on his heels, leaping to the side as the beam crashed into one of the nearby office buildings. Godzilla turned as fast as his gargantuan body would allow, but still he had trouble keeping up with the nimble kaiju. But at last, his beam struck the ground a mere yard in front of Zilla. The explosion that rose up sent the iguana mutant falling backward. The creature let out a high-pitched noise before chunks of debris began raining down on him. Godzilla shook his head from side to side, letting out a snarl before he began to approach the fallen Zilla. However, as he waded through the streets, a dark shadow was cast over him. The Monster King stopped for a moment, lifting up and squinting his eyes against the sun.
He saw a way better kaiju.
Yeah! Behold the glory of a much better kaiju. Then the sound came, like an enraged elephant. Something else had arrived. The sound came again, and then something exploded in the distance. A fireball had torn through the factories on the opposite side of the city, the chemicals inside igniting. The roar came again, and this time it was closer. Godzilla turned around, smashing his long tail through more smaller structures as he looked at the form of a semi-familiar creature. It was much like the golden hydra he had faced before, but this one was carried on 4 legs. Its body was shades of gray and red, and its 3 heads skeletal. Its wings were blood red and surged with some type of energy. only some type, non-specified. The air around its toothy jaws were warped from the intense heat generated by the fiend. Desghidorah let out another loud wail, lifting its 3 heads into the sky. Its 3 pair of glowing red eyes scanned the streets before fixating on the Monster King himself. The nightmare hissed, strands of drool falling from its jaws before it moved forward. Godzilla snorted, forgetting about Zilla as he focused on the return of his old nemesis, or one that was somehow related anyway. Yes, forgetting Zilla, the best thing about this match according to Alex.
I guess Desghidorah forgot he was a vegetarian.
As Desghidorah got closer, atomic fury blossomed on Godzilla's back before his beam was catapulted forward again. The beam smacked into Desghidorah, sending a wave of sparks and smoke upward, but the Hydra refused to relent. The creature crawled through the flames, its jaws launching orbs of lava-like energy. Godzilla lifted his arms, protecting his snout as 2 orbs, don't you mean eyes, smashed into his dark body, coating it in flames. More blasts struck the ground around him, and in an instant, Godzilla was standing in a pool of molten material, the heat generated actually melting the tar and concrete that composed the ground. Well, it's a little long of a sentence there, but I don't know. The Monster King snorted as a wall of black smoke drifted up around him, obscuring him from view. Pass.
Who proofread this? Or who's the beta reader for this?
3,
Who knows?
4.
Okay. Desghidorah cackled in wicked glee, watching on as the magma that was spawned stretched out into the neighboring streets. The Hydra snorted, dropping bubbling saliva falling from his toothy maws. But suddenly, his red eyes narrowed. Through the black smoke, a faint blue light burned. A cackle of energy flashed before a beam of white and blue atomic power was launched again. The Hydra reacted quickly, flapping its huge wings and lifting into the sky. The Hydra looked down onto the carnage, watching on as the Monster King waded through the smoke, his entire form steaming as he swam through the lava again. Crouching low to the ground, Zilla peeked around the side of a building, the flying monster completely oblivious to his presence. As it should be. He should be forgotten.
Good.
Godzilla stepped out of Godzilla stepped out of the magma that Desghidorah's assault made, and released a titanic roar that echoed for miles outside the city and crashed into an iceberg. The king smashed his tail to the side, daring the Doombringer to come down and face him. The Hydra circled above, snarling loudly as Godzilla watched on, lips curling into a snarl. Desghidorah's left head spotted Zilla on the ground, and a shiver of fear ran through the lizard. The flying monster snorted, and a lava blast was catapulted from its mouth. The ground was engulfed in fire, and Zilla burst from the shadows, rushing for cover as Desghidorah continued to pelt the ground with his lava gout energy blasts. The mutant lizard dove for cover, but the Hydra made a fatal mistake. It took its attention from its true adversary. Not the fake one, the true one. Several buildings, launching a powerful atomic ray at Desghidorah. The beam struck the Hydra between its left, front, and rear legs. As a ball of fire raced upwards, the beast fell from the sky, smashing down onto the streets with a thud that sent buildings hundreds of yards away shaking. Not miles, just yards? Okay. Before Desghidorah could recover, Godzilla was on him. The King Kaiju lashed out with his muscular tail, bringing it down like a hammer. A sickening thud rang loudly as flesh met flesh. Desghidorah shrieked in pain as the blow came again, ringing like a drum. The drums don't ring though.
No, they don't.
Godzilla snorted and looked over his shoulder. On as the Dark One squirmed under his physical assault. Then suddenly, Desghidorah's entire being surged with heated energy. A pulse of energy launched from its very core, surging through Godzilla and the streets around it. The ground gave way, cratering around the warring behemoths before the energy was cast outward. How many pulse attack?
Wait, what? What was
Just
that?
one.
Godzilla, as heavy and mighty as he was lifted off his huge feet and hurled away, his head and shoulders smashing through the roof of a building to its base, along with his knees and toes. Desghidorah shook his Desghidorah shook his three skull-like heads and hissed in defiance as he turned to face the fallen Monster King. Godzilla pushed against the ruined ground with his hands, crawling to his feet. The demonic Hydra roared greatly before rearing back on his hind legs. The talon-like claws on his toes surged with power before he came crashing back down. The entire city shuddered as a fault line formed in the streets, making a pit straight to hell itself as Kumasagami waved from below. Buildings fell apart as if they were made of sand, and the streets vanished into the darkness. Then, as the crevice continued on its path to Godzilla, flames began to shoot upward from Orochi's mouth, apparently. Godzilla got to his feet just before the hellfire reached him. The Saurian kept his feet on each side of the formed crevice, keep a stand as the ground continued to split apart and shoot fire into the sky. Desghidorah's booming laughter sounded, but soon the laughter ended when an vengeful cry escaped. Zilla had leapt onto his back. Godzilla's brow narrowed as he took this chance to recover, moving to one side of the crevice as fires began to die. Zilla was like a frenzied dog trying to bite through a horse made of cement.
Bark, bark.
I guess Zilla's Godzilla's dog now?
Yes.
It's his pet dog.
He got bit by the wearing gears.
He got bit by the wearing gears and the rabid Baragon. Desghidorah's hide didn't even scratch before one of its snout reared back, grabbing Zilla by the forearm. Mist began to rise as the demon's heated saliva burned away the lizard's gray flesh, exposing redness. The Hydra maneuvered more of its heads to Zilla in an attempt to rip the monster away. But then suddenly, power gripped its center and right head. Welcome something power to the match. Pass.
Its crimson eyes looked into Godzilla's cat-like face, and the monster bellowed greatly. The demon-centered head began to spit fire, but the flames washed harmlessly over Godzilla's hide. As Bastard clung to Desghidorah's back and the Hydra's left head tried to remove him, the Monster King channeled nuclear energy through his body. His eyes flashed a brilliant light before a glow of blue flashed in his jaws and vanished into his throat. Desghidorah leaned up onto his hind legs again, but Godzilla still held on to his two heads. The Hydra was trapped. Bastard screamed as he held on, trying to bite through the hard armor of the beast. Then nuclear energy exploded from Godzilla's body. A shockwave of atomic annihilation ripped through Desghidorah. The Hydra screamed in pain as his body wanted to fly back from the force, but the King's grip prevented it. Bastard, on Desghidorah's back, felt little of the pulse. The lizard leapt off the Hydra, landing on all fours and crouching low again. Godzilla released Desghidorah's heads, and the beast slumped to the ground. The body of Desghidorah twitched, and his wings softly beat to the ground, but Godzilla was looking at the bastard. The Monster King leaned his head back, roaring into the smoke-filled sky and exploding his dagger-like teeth. Bastard hissed and stood on his hind legs, tail swaying behind him. The mutant lizard roared back, and his roar sounded near identical to Godzilla's. Imposter! As the two traded roars, Desghidorah exploded into action like a bat out of hell. The fiend leapt there, wings flapping or fapping as he launched into the sky. The sky flashed an orange glow as he penetrated the smoke clouds, retreating from the earth for now. The three-headed Doom Bringer would be back Sunday. Godzilla watched as Desghidorah fled and turned its deadly gaze to Bastard again. The lizard touched his wounded arm with his boxy snout and then shoved his own smaller teeth at Godzilla. The monster slowly turned around his tail, dragging Combo behind him. Bastard tilted his reptilian head and hissed. Godzilla was heading out to sea. And then Bastard took a step forward. He looked down at the ground, realizing he was standing the only good one's footsteps, rolling his shoulders and shaking his head from side to side. The iguana monster ignored the pain in his arm, took another step, his feet not matching Godzilla's steps. The monster king vanished into the sea, and the water bubbling around his black rubbery hide. The beast looked back over his shoulder, watching on as Bastard slowly advanced behind him. When Godzilla's head vanished behind the sea, Zilla stepped into the sea. Bastard stepped into the sea. He shook his boxy skull again and snored before he too entered the abyss. On this day, the true king finally murdered the imposter. Winner, Godzilla.
Winner Godzilla and Zilla, but yeah, I mean it's like
Nope, just Godzilla.
honestly, in many respects, it's not necessarily out of spite of Zilla, but I do kind of agree that the true victor here is Godzilla. I don't feel like Zilla did, like, don't get me wrong, it was kind of neat to see the two fight Desghidorah, but even then it didn't feel like, I don't know, it didn't feel like a genuine cooperative team up. It just felt like they, I don't know, it felt kind of like with the case of Hedorah versus Desghidorah Dagara, but even then I feel like that match handled the idea of like two monsters teaming up on a greater threat better than this one. I feel like Godzilla is just simply a powerhouse. And while I think Zilla's only major contribution was leaping onto Desghidorah's back, I don't think he didn't really do anything that noteworthy to stand out as an ally. If anything more, it probably would have been more in character for Godzilla to just blast Zilla and maybe not kill him, but knock him out. But
I got a better idea for this match.
Take on Zilla.
Godzilla and Desghidorah team up against Zilla.
Well, it says it's a three-way versus, so
I would rewrite this match to have Godzilla and Desghidorah team up.
Poor Zilla. Well, you wouldn't say that, but
Poor Zilla, he's getting exactly what he deserves.
Yeah, I mean it's like, I mean the fight with Godzilla and Zilla segment was okay. And the Godzilla versus Desghidorah fight was okay. I just feel like as an ally, Zilla just didn't really do much. So it was,
he ran for most of the time.
All right.
The one time he actually did something was because he was scared of fire.
right. So, yeah, it's just a bit of an average match out of MM's matches. That and a lot of grammar errors, like leaped. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be leapt. Like a nice majority of those probably could have been changed to leapt. So, yeah, not as strong. I mean, not his strongest, but I can't really call it awful. It's just not his strongest. So, yeah, honestly, the real highlight of this match is really more of Godzilla fighting Desghidorah. So if you wanted to see that, then well, this match could be up your alley. But yeah, Zilla just feels kind of tacked on. It feels like you could have just removed him. Nothing really would have changed. That's just how I feel. Nagoda, did you have any? Nagoda, did you have any thoughts?
Like I said, it would be better if Zilla lost.
Right.
Well, one thing I'd like to know is I like how the banner looks, especially since it looks like Godzilla and Desghidorah are about to go murder Zilla. But then, I mean, look at it, doesn't it?
Kinda does, yeah. It looks like Godzilla and Zilla are gonna team up on no, it looks like Godzilla and Desghidorah are gonna team up on Zilla. I could totally see that.
Does anyone else have anything to say?
Oh.
Boobies, 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 boobies.
Alex, did you have anything to expand upon? Anything to note? I mean, besides taking Zilla out of the match and making it a lot better that way.
And like I said, Godzilla and Desghidorah versus Zilla sounds a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. And that was match 76. And we'll see you guys next time for match 77. Until then, folks.
Never.